Hey guys, thanks for watching this video. We just finished stacking a bunch of silage and now just got off the phone with the guy that actually owns these cattle, a local rancher and friend of ours. We're gonna feed a few for him. We did feed a few already to help keep the cattle out of our way. They knew what we were doing. They thought they were getting fed. So to keep them out of our way of the bale stack while we were finishing up that stack, we fed a few, kept them off. Now, we're gonna do the landlord and the owner of the cattle a favor. We're gonna throw out 8 bales and kind of show you how these silage bales feed in the middle of winter time. Well, I've always kind of wondered what it would take to break open a silage bale, and this is a 542/70 7-meter reach. Dropped it from full height. It's a little deformed, but it didn't break open. This Sure Film from Novatex is strong stuff. These cows have been kind of in our way driving back and forth, and we're gonna bait them a little out of our way, and I'll take a bale out and we'll get them to stand somewhere else. I wish the camera you guys are watching this on had smell-o-vision. As corny as that sounds, this triticale barley silage smells amazing. I know there's a million ways to cut open these bales, but maybe we'll show you a few. This is one way to do it. I'll grab this bale, bring it out to those girls, and tempt them to stand out of our way. These aren't our cows. We got permission from the guy that owns them, a friend of ours. And while we're here with some equipment, with the stack of silage, we're gonna windrow some snow to not only give the cattle a good, nice place to eat on stubble, but we're gonna windrow the snow to help capture more snow and act as a snow fence. We haven't shown you guys much of this on the channel so far, but windrowing snow and catching snow with snow fences as dry land farmers is something pretty important to us. That's actually the reason we were able to buy and justify this Metal Plus snow blade, is so that we can do stuff like this. We get a lot of wind and Chinooks in this area, and we need to capture all the moisture that we can because we don't have irrigation, and come spring it can dry up real quick. So when we windrow snow, the wind catches and tumbles and drops more snow in that spot, and that drift will just keep growing and growing and growing. So we're doing it for water retention, plus we're doing it to give the cows a nice place to stand and eat on stubble ground and graze. So we'll show you what we get up to. Watch this. So here we are, 16 feet of snow into the windrow. Now we will go to the end of this field, turn around, put 16 feet of snow against that same windrow. Bob's your uncle, catching snow. And just like that, 16 feet times 2, 32 feet worth of windrowed snow. That pile is about 24 inches tall. The snow is super sugary here today, so it doesn't pile up as good. If we were to actually let this set up and maybe go through a couple warm days of heat cycles, we could pile that even further. But we get a lot of Chinooks here, so when those Chinook winds come, it may blow some snow around the field, but it's all gonna get hung up in these new snow fences or windrows. What we're doing is doing some east-west passes so that when we get a north wind, it helps keep the snow in the field versus in the ditch and drifting on the road. So a little bit of common courtesy to the county that we live in and the neighbors, and just the safety of the road, is that we get to keep the water where we want it, which is in the field, but we also keep it off of the roadway. We don't need water on a road. We need water in the field. It's kind of it's a win-win, because not only are we windrowing snow and capturing more winter moisture by using the windrow as a snow fence, but now we're also gonna help spread the manure in the field, be nice to the cattle, give those girls some nice dirt and stubble to stand on instead of trudging through the snow all the time. So gives them a nice place to bed down and feed, and by us using the windrows to also feed the cattle gives us the chance to manage where the manure is in the field. If you just randomly drove across the field, you may have one area of really high manure concentration, especially when you have a couple hundred head that you're feeding. So I'm gonna jump out of this fast track here in a second and go grab some bales. Watch this. One thing we get all the time is how can I feed silage? And you don't really need any special equipment. If you were to go all out with a feeder, feeding system, a TMR mixer wagon like the Penta twin screw mixer wagon that we had in our video last year, keeping 300 women happy. If you haven't seen that video, go back and take a look. A TMR is, I guess, the best way to feed any feed, but not only does that work with silage, but you can use something as basic as a bale truck. Our friend Ben, you've seen us last winter use his bale truck, but today we don't have any special fancy feeding equipment. We're still gonna feed this silage, just the telehandler and a set of huggers on the end. Actually, I lied. No, I said no special equipment. You need a sharp knife. Mine's getting dull, so you're gonna see me struggle. So when I cut the vertical sides, I'm just making sure I've gotten through the net wrap as well. Cutting through just the plastic is easy, but making sure you get through the net wrap. So people say, do silage bales freeze in the wintertime? I guess they could. These are between 30 and 40% moisture. As I pull back this plastic, keep in mind, it has been minus 25 degrees Celsius here this week. These bales baled at 30 to 40% are not froze. You can see the odd piece of ice in between a piece of straw like this, but it's not frozen. A little bit of condensation, that's all that is. These bales are very hard, as you can see. Not frozen. Geez, that smells good. All right, all I'm gonna do now, obviously I didn't do a very clean, precise job cutting that plastic off. I'm just gonna grab this bale with the hugger, drop it a couple times, start breaking it apart, make a bit of a line, probably 3 or 4 drops. This bale will be good. Do that to the next one. You can tell I'm not a cattleman. I don't do this every day. All right, let's break these apart. Well, don't laugh at me, guys. That's probably the most amateur hour farmer trying to act like a cowboy that you'll see. But in the end, we just gotta get this out for the animals. So as you can see, we chopped this with 50% knives in our crone baler. The longest piece in there is probably 10 inches, but just beautiful feed, lots of leaf, Didn't lose any of the heads. So the feed analysis on this silage is 121% relative feed value and 169% relative feed quality at about a 14.1% protein. This blend is a 70% triticale, spring triticale blend and a 30% barley mixed in. We seeded it with our new horse drill all through the 6.5-inch spacing. So it came to us blended. We bought it blended. So we just put it through the drill and it metered really nice. So this stuff smells amazing. Those cows are gonna come over here and be mowing this down tonight. Those 3 bales we put in are probably almost gone just to keep them out of our way while we were stacking. So really nice feed quality. Yes, don't laugh at my amateur hour way of, of breaking these bales apart. I just wanted to show you guys how easy they break apart. Yes, you could use something as inexpensive as a telehandler to be feeding these bales. You could be using a bale truck, you could be using a bale processor or a TMR mixer wagon. We've been selling a bunch up to Didsbury, Alberta this year, and some other places feedlot wise where they're just throwing them straight into feeders. So there's lots of ways you can feed this silage. It's easy to feed, it's not quite as fragile as hay, and really good feed value. So these cows are gonna love it. Just trying to look through the core of the bale here. Breaks apart quite easy. It's fascinating how these chrome balers can build a bale. For how dense they are, we find the chrome baler is a very dense built bale, but you would also think that the center or the core of the baler or the bale is rock hard, but it's not. It can be picked apart. Unlike some dry hay balers, the center of the core is like concrete. So kind of neat how that works. Well, it didn't take these cattle long to demolish these bales. They are mowing them down, which is exactly what you want. But I just thought of something, you know, the head down and ass up term. Someone taught these cattle how to do that, because they look at me as I walk by, but they don't care that I'm here. They love that silage more than they hate me walking around. It smells so good around here. If that silage was fit for human consumption, maybe I'd be in there too. Almost forgot. We owe a huge thank you out to Agri Novatech, the company that builds this plastic. You guys have a fantastic product. As you saw in today's video, we were pretty rough in pretty harsh conditions on these bales. It's cold. It is -5, it was -14 degrees Celsius when we got here this morning, and throughout the day it was below 0 Celsius. We were hard on these bales, they were sliding around. You know, we had to push them and pry them, and this plastic held up. And now that we're opening up this silage, it did its job. That plastic kept the oxygen out. It did a really good job building these bales. And that 7-layer Sure Film product that we like to use, it is a premium grade film, but how incredible is it that it is as durable as you've seen in today's video in cold, harsh conditions. Think of other plastics that you know of. When you just breathe on them or touch them in cold, they shatter. And these were still pliable and puncture resistant in everything that you saw in today's video. So Agri Novatech, thank you so much. We've been a loyal purchaser of your product for a while now. Because of this, you guys build a darn good product. So if you guys are ever looking for silage film, even net wrap products, look up Agri Novatech and you can't go wrong. Give credit where credit is due. Thank you, Agri Novatech. You make a good product. Thanks guys for watching this video. I thought I'd throw in a little different outro. What we just did here, I didn't realize this is feeding beef cattle the cheapest way possible. We did not have a fancy mixer wagon or processor. We didn't even have a bale unroller. All we had was a JCB telehandler and a bale hugger. The cost of ownership per hour and depreciation on a telehandler is similar to a skid steer. Very little, way less money per hour than even a tractor, right?
It spread it pretty nice.
And it did an okay job. It's not textbook perfect by any means, but feeding cattle as cheaply as possible. Didn't even have to use a legit farm tractor. Was able to use something like a telehandler and minor implement like a $1,500 bale hugger, feeding the cheapest feed that you can get this year, which is silage bales. It's significantly cheaper than hay or green feed.
Huge quality.
Huge quality.
Awesome quality.
Good protein. So,
and you're taking 2 bales out at once.
Yeah, and I kind of leapfrogged them along to feed them and break them apart, but...
Well, how many bales are you going to get in a feeder?
2. Kind of the same capacity. We're probably not. It kind of from the road looks like amateur hour, but the principle of this video is these silage bales are nothing to be afraid of. They feed literally any way that you can imagine how. There's nothing to be afraid of. They're not even frozen. I found a little hair of some condensation on the inside of some of the plastic, and there was like a thin layer of ice on the plastic, but like the bale itself is not frozen, so.
Sure smells sweet.
It sure does, yeah. So we'll wrap this one up here, guys. Thanks for watching this episode of How Cheap Can You Feed a Beef Cow? All right, see you guys.